For overlock stitches, you have quite a variety. From stitch number 5 that jumps over to the right side, that's really what you're after, is any stitch that jumps to the right. Let's see here, 14. 20 is the one we're going to use because that even has a seam type setting that will do both an overlock and a seam. 19 would work, even 28. Now 20 is in the stretch area. So for the S setting, you're going to turn your dial that's for the stitch length past 0, keep going until you get to S. And then to get to 20, turn your knob on the side here until 20 shows in your window. For stitch width, turn your width all the way up to 5, and you can adjust that if you don't want it as wide. Now, the stitch that it shows for 20, it says foot G. G is the overlock foot. The overlock foot has a little black guide that will keep you running right along the raw edge of the fabric. Then there's also a little pin in here. This pin will support the stitch as it jumps off the raw edge and help keep the fabric from curling underneath. So I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can use this stitch and foot. To put the foot on, take your other foot off, hold it underneath your presser foot, and then click it down until it attaches. There is a little place for the thread to go underneath the foot into the back. So for a single edge of fabric, we can just set this up and go ahead and start to sew. As you sew, your stitches will guide yourself with that foot all the way down, so it keeps the stitch running perfectly along that edge. And that little pin is doing the support of keeping the stitch nice and flat. Now, one thing to note as you get all the way to the end and you're ready to take it out, so we'll just stop, turn the hand wheel so the needle comes to the highest position. We'll pull this right on out. Is the last stitch is still on this pin, so pull it out the back side and then it will release. And see what it's going to do. It's going to make these edges no longer unraveling. Even though you could come back and trim those off if those bother you. You can do this before you sew your seam together, or you can do it even afterwards. Sew your seam and then overlock both the raw edges at the same time. Now if we use the same concept, because we have a seam on this part plus the overlock with, say, for example, a neckline, we've cut this as a little bit of a curve. We'll take some ribbing, fold it in half, and we'll line up the raw edges of the ribbing with the raw edges of the fabric. So then, watch what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and do the stitching here. I'm going to gently pull the ribbing so it kind of stretches and fills in. And we just keep the raw edges kind of guided with the blade that is on the foot. That makes it really easy to guide it all the way around. So we're getting both a overlock and a seam all done at the same time. Plus it's going to have the stretch and give when it's done. All right, so we'll finish that stitch, needle all the way up. Take that last stitch straight out the back and off the pin of the foot. Here's what it's going to look like. Has the stretch, and then this is what it looks like done. Isn't that easy?